Do you remember that Irish fighter who took over the world in 2016? Conor McGregor wasn't just a fighter. He was a phenomenon. 2 belts at the same time, millions of dollars, and an unbelievable aura. And then everything slowly started to fall apart. Today, we're going to break down how a king became a man who almost drowned in his own success, and whether the comeback waiting for us in July at UFC 329 is truly real, or just a desperate attempt to save a legend. To understand Conor's entire story, we have to go back to 2016. In November of that year, McGregor defeated Eddie Alvarez and became the first fighter in UFC history to hold 2 belts at the same time. There is no doubt about it. At that moment, he was at the absolute peak of his career. What he didn't know back then was that from that point on, his sporting career would only go downhill. From that moment, Conor took his foot off the gas for the first time in his career. And honestly, it made sense. He had reached the very top. For years, his life had been nothing but training camp after training camp. So after such a huge achievement, it was clear that it was time to slow down. He was also expecting a child at the time, so his mind was somewhere completely different. But when you are a champion, your duty is to defend your belt. Conor clearly had no interest in defending the title. So in the middle of 2017, he was forced to give up the belt. But he handled it smartly. This is what his coach said at the time. Whatever happens, nobody can ever take those belts away from him. Nobody beat him for them. So from a business point of view, I see it as a smart move. And the whole reason behind it was simple. Conor had received an offer he simply could not refuse, a boxing mega fight with Floyd Mayweather. One single fight was going to earn him more money than his entire MMA career up to that point combined. From Conor's point of view, he had absolutely nothing to lose. Either he beats an undefeated boxing legend and everyone celebrates him, or he loses. And people simply say he was never a boxer, so it was expected. A massive promotional campaign followed. And even though not many people truly expected it, Conor trained seriously and made huge progress in boxing. But realistically, against a legend like Mayweather in a 12-round fight, it was never going to be enough. In the end, Conor lasted 10 rounds and lost by TKO. But Conor had never looked so happy after a loss. He knew he had changed history once again. That fight became the second biggest selling combat sports event of all time, with 4.3 million pay-per-view buys. Mayweather reportedly earned around $300 million, while Conor made around $100 million. On top of that, Conor also announced his next business move, one that would eventually earn him even more than that fight. Conor had reached unbelievable wealth. He was financially secure for generations. At the same time, he had already achieved his goals in combat sports. People started asking, what is McGregor going to do now? If he wanted to return to the UFC, there was only one fight that made sense at that moment: Khabib Nurmagomedov. At that time, Khabib was the undefeated lightweight contender, a fighter whose style seemed like a nightmare for almost everyone in the UFC. Many people believed that McGregor was the one man who could stop the eagle from the mountains of Dagestan. The cards were on the table. Either Conor would impose his striking and defend Khabib's takedowns, or even Conor's stand-up would not be enough, and Khabib would dominate the fight with his feared wrestling. At the beginning of 2018, the UFC stripped Conor of his second belt as well. They wanted to give Khabib the opportunity he had been waiting for. And now, let's explain how such hatred between these two men even began. Conor had a friend and sparring partner named Artem Lobov. Artem criticized Khabib for not accepting certain fights and said that a real champion should fight anyone. He also said that if he ever saw Khabib, he would slap him. When Khabib and his team ran into Artem Lobov inside the UFC facilities, they surrounded him. Khabib told him to keep his mouth shut and slapped him a few times. When Conor found out, he somehow decided the best reaction would be to take around 30 of his Irish friends, book a private jet, and attack the bus where Khabib was sitting after media duties. When they reached the bus, Conor shouted for Khabib to come outside, but Khabib stayed inside. McGregor then threw a dolly through the window. The problem was that Nurmagomedov was not alone on that bus.
Just tell me where, and that's it. Why you need come here? show up.
Later that same day, Conor was arrested. He was charged with attempted assault and had to pay $50,000. Dana White said it was the most disgusting thing in UFC history. But then he had another idea. Why not turn this whole incident into promotion for a super fight? Conor versus Khabib, and at the same time, connect it with sponsorship from McGregor's whiskey. On the other side, Khabib was extremely hungry for this fight. He wanted to face Conor badly. His manager said, "Khabib doesn't like this guy. We don't like this guy. We don't like his team and what he represents." For Khabib, this was not about fame, hype, or money. He simply wanted to destroy Conor. Meanwhile, Conor appeared drunk at press conferences and did not look serious at all. At times, it looked like he cared more about promoting his whiskey than about the fight itself. He even offered it to his opponent and to Dana White. He also used his famous trash talk, trying to get inside Khabib's head. He went after Khabib's family and insulted almost everyone he could. Normally, this worked on most opponents Conor had faced. But this time, he was wrong. Khabib was more focused than ever and ready to leave everything inside the cage. What was also crazy was how one-sided the fan reaction was. Conor was still the absolute fan favorite. Every time Khabib spoke, the crowd exploded with deafening boos. In any case, this was probably the most anticipated fight in UFC history, and the organization expected records to be broken. When both men walked into the cage at UFC 229, there was no more room for trash talk. At the beginning, Conor pushed forward, but gradually he started to lose energy, while Khabib kept pressuring him with takedowns. Conor supposedly won the third round, but that was mainly because Khabib slowed down, rested, and recovered energy. In the fourth round, Khabib finally finished him by submission, exactly as he had predicted before the fight. After the fight, as we all know today, a huge brawl broke out between Conor's team and Khabib's team. Fans knew it was personal, but nobody realized it was this personal. Because of the brawl, which was started by the Dagestani fighter, Khabib had to pay $2 million, unlike Conor, whose bus attack had basically created promotion for the UFC. Still, Conor himself described it simply: he lost, and everything else did not matter. The fight became a UFC record in pay-per-view sales, with 2.4 million buys. If Conor had won that night, it would have been the perfect ending to his career. He could have retired at the top and become an absolute legend. But because he lost, he could not stop. Khabib later said that Conor could never really have won. According to him, you cannot compare a fighter who drives around in a robe in the newest Mercedes and spends his days focused more on the whiskey business than on training, with a fighter who trains in humble conditions and wakes up every day hungry for success. On March 26th, Conor posted on Twitter that he was retiring from MMA. Just 24 hours later, it came out that McGregor had been accused of sexual assault in Dublin. His fans did not want to believe it. Then a video appeared showing Conor hitting an older man in a pub. The full story behind that incident was not known. Another video showed him knocking a man's phone out of his hand because the man was filming him, and then stomping on it until it broke into pieces. It was becoming clear that McGregor was losing control of his lifestyle, and his behavior was spiraling. Then came another major shock. Conor was arrested on suspicion of strong-arm robbery, and as if that was not enough, another sexual allegation followed, this time involving a woman in her early 20s. It was said to have happened in a car outside one of the pubs in Dublin. Conor's team tried to shut everything down and said the claims were false rumors. To repair his image, Conor decided to take another fight. In 2020, he was set to face Donald Cerrone. Conor looked good, tried to avoid trash talk, and showed huge respect toward his opponent. This fight at UFC 246 was his big comeback. Conor finished Cerrone just 40 seconds into the first round. Fans believed the king was back. In the post-fight interview, he said he was ready to fight anyone. But just a few days after the fight, he once again announced his retirement on Twitter. He also announced that he was finally marrying Dee Devlin. Then came another allegation of sexual assault, this time from France. Conor was reportedly only questioned and then released. And then came yet another UFC return. It almost seemed as if preparing for a fight was some kind of therapy and rebirth for him. This time, he decided to fight Dustin Poirier. And once again, we saw the humble Conor. He seemed peaceful and showed Dustin respect before the fight. But Poirier completely destroyed Conor's lead leg with brutal calf kicks. McGregor lost his stability and started losing the stand-up battle. In the end, Dustin became the first fighter to defeat Conor by TKO. Even though Conor lost, the numbers were still huge. His fights with Dustin and Cerrone are still among the top 5 most-watched UFC fights ever. Eventually, Conor wanted one more fight with Dustin Poirier, the trilogy. But this time, the respect and humility were gone. McGregor returned to his trash talk and crossed the line by bringing up Dustin's wife, which even many fans felt was unnecessary, especially because only a few months earlier, he had shown Dustin so much respect. When the fight finally happened, we saw a beautiful first round full of striking, takedowns, wrestling, and submission attempts. Then suddenly, just a few seconds before the end of the round, Conor's leg gave out. He stepped badly, and his leg completely snapped. Dustin landed a few more punches, and the fight was once again ruled a TKO by doctor stoppage. After that, Conor delivered an unbelievable trash talk interview with Joe Rogan. He said more things that many fans felt he should have kept to himself, including claiming that Dustin's wife was in his DMs. But the reality was that she had only sent McGregor a message request so she could thank him for his donation to charity, and that was Conor's last fight so far. Sometime after that moment, fans started noticing in recent photos that McGregor looked unnaturally bigger and more muscular. People suspected that he had started using banned substances. The fact is that during the whole year of 2022, he was not tested. The truth is that Conor used steroids, and according to him, it was because of treatment for his injury. At that time, it did not really matter because he was not fighting anyway. What was sad, however, was that around that period, other substances seemed to be taking over his life. In one interview from that time, you could see that Conor could barely finish a sentence, and his mouth kept moving unnaturally. Some people blamed it on the amount of beer he had been drinking during the interview. But realists saw it differently. Based on the movement of his mouth and his hands constantly touching his nose, many people believed it looked like cocaine use. What made the situation look even worse was that, around the same time, his brother-in-law was convicted of smuggling drugs into Ireland. Fans concluded that Conor may have had very easy access to certain substances. At the beginning of 2023, there was another alleged sexual assault case, along with constant reports and videos suggesting that Conor was spending most of his time at parties and in bars. Another controversy came during an NBA game involving the Miami Heat. The organizers asked Conor to take part in a boxing-style performance with the mascot, but he took it far too seriously. He literally knocked the mascot out, and the man inside the costume had to be taken to the hospital. That same evening, reports appeared about another sexual harassment allegation, allegedly inside the toilets during the game. Fans began to think that maybe people were constantly trying to take money from him, and nobody really knew what to believe anymore. Around that time, Conor also appeared in interviews and videos where it was still clear that he was struggling with drugs. It became a direct example of how success and wealth can completely destroy a person. After the endless delays of the fight with Chandler and all the uncertain announcements, we arrive at November 2025. Out of nowhere, Conor appeared at a BKFC press conference, an organization he is connected with as a promoter, and spoke about how he had found a new path and felt healed. Conor McGregor underwent an intense 36-hour psychedelic therapy with ibogaine at the Ambio Life Sciences Clinic in Mexico to deal with past trauma. During this intense experience, he claimed he saw his own death, which helped him heal his brain, heart, and soul. This procedure is also sought out by other athletes and military veterans for the treatment of PTSD or addiction. Because of its strong hallucinogenic effects and the risk of heart arrhythmias, ibogaine is classified as a banned substance in many countries, including Ireland. Conor went through a complete transformation. He dedicated his life to God, prays every day, and is now more focused than ever before. And that brings us to the present. It is May 2026, and Conor has announced his next fight. It will not be on the White House card, as everyone expected. It will be UFC 329, and his opponent will not be Ilia Topuria or Michael Chandler. It will be Max Holloway for the second time. It is a fight almost nobody expected, but one that makes perfect sense. When they first fought in 2013, both men were young rising stars. Conor won by decision back then, even though he tore a ligament in his knee during the fight. But 13 years have passed since then. Max Holloway has become one of the greatest legends of the featherweight and lightweight divisions, a fighter who is almost impossible to finish. And that leaves us with the most important question of this entire story. Are we about to witness the greatest sporting resurrection in human history, or are we watching the final chapter in the tragedy of a destroyed champion? So the big question is, can McGregor shock the world one more time? If you enjoyed this video, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and tell me in the comments who you think wins.